What's up, guys? Dark Saint here, bringing you a video to talk to you about all things that you need to know prior to the launch of Tom Clancy's The Division. First things that we're going to go over is we're going to go over the patch notes after the open and the closed beta, of course. And there's quite a few of them, but I'll be able to go through each one of them. I'll have them on screen so you can read them here, but I'll also leave a link in the description box below to where you can go if you want to read them yourself, if you can't read them on the screen for whatever reason. There's also some other things I want to go over as far as extra gear sets you can get for pre-order, gold edition, and some other stuff that are hidden throughout. There's also a rumor that I want to go over, and this is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt, but it being Ubisoft, it could possibly be a chance for you guys to get an extra gear set that maybe not everybody has. So, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing we're going to look at as far as the Division patch notes, we're going to look at the appearance menu has been updated. Now displays a grid, making it easier to browse items. That'd be interesting to see in the actual game. Outfit sets option has been added to quickly equip all the items in a set. Now, I don't know if that means that you have to build a set yourself and then you want to save it for later if you want to, play around and be like, all right, I don't like any of these other looks. I just want to get back to my set that I had on prior to all this. Or if it's like a collection, like if you find all these clothing items or armor pieces that have the same name and it makes a set once you complete it. But I'm pretty sure it'd probably be a set that you assign. To me, that would make more sense than having, a group of items that just happen to have the same name and you just able to equip that entire set that way. That has been something that has been in other MMOs. I could see this being more of a your own gear set kind of thing. And the other one is inspect feature added. I don't know what that entails, but it could be interesting to see. So. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is visual improvements. The first one being fixed several lights that did not cast global illumination. 2, fixed missing volumetric lights and traffic lights. 3, illuminated signs now cast actual lights. All 3 of those basically just have to deal with lights that you see around the city. Some lights would not be casting an illumination at all. You'd see it on the building, but you wouldn't see any reflection on the water or the snow or even the building itself that surrounded it. Sometimes the light on, like, let's say a traffic light would be bright if it was one color, or really, really dark on another color. It didn't quite mix right. Like, one just seemed brighter than the other. And the last one, illuminating signs now cast actual lights. Some lights, like I said, didn't actually give off lights. Some signs, like you would go up and you'd shoot the sign, or it'd be blinking, and you would see the light on the ground, but then you shoot it and it would stop blinking, but you'd still see the light on the ground flashing. I think that's really what that has to do with. It's supposed to help with the immersion of the game, so look forward to seeing those corrections. It's not a big deal to me, but, it helps with the immersion. Better, more in-depth into the game that you are, the better of a game it is. Next one we're going to go over is the improved atmospheric haze in several time and weather combination, improved nighttime lighting and contrast. I think both of those have to deal with whenever you have a lot of haze or a lot of fog come in, it's hard to see. That, to me, is great. I love that. I love the nighttime. I love the haze. I love all that. And sometimes it is very, very difficult to see. So maybe with these improvements, it'll be either less difficult to see or it'll just feel better. I'm not exactly sure how to explain or even really what that does. I'm hoping they don't hurt it, because I personally kind of like it when it's hard to see. I don't want to have it foggy and still be able to see all the way to the end of the block. I kind of prefer it whenever it's dark and everything like that. It helps with the I don't know, kind of the ninja feel about it, being able to go in there and be all stealthy, and I don't know. It helps with PvP players. Obviously, the AIs, they really don't care. I've seen them shoot regardless. It does seem to affect their sight limit, but doesn't seem to be by much. So, next one's is adjusted exaggerated rim light shader on characters, improved car window reflections, and improved screen space ambient occlusion on to be more pronounced. Okay, all those are just your surroundings, your character, how the light reflects off your character. Doesn't seem to be any big issues that I saw during the betas, but you know, if they're going to fix it, they're going to fix it, and I look forward to seeing that as well. So the next notes we're going to go over is going to be the mega map and open world updates. First one is new mission overview has been added to the mega map. I'm guessing what that means is if you ever actually see a mission, rather than just picking a mission randomly and running over there to that location, whenever you put your cursor over it, it'll actually tell you what that mission entails, tells you what faction is there, something like that. It might also be that once you complete all these missions, you can go and you can look at it and tell you what you did during that mission. But I guess I could see it more of, you put your cursor over it and it tells you what that mission contains. So next, contaminated zones will now display required filter levels on the mega map. So when you open up your big map, it'll tell you what levels you're allowed to go to and what levels you can't go to yet because you don't have the proper filters. So you need to upgrade your face mask and get better filters in order to go into them. Field data without audio will automatically play when you pick them up. So I'm assuming that means the cell phones, the survival guides, certain things like that when you picked them up, they didn't play right away. The echoes seemed to play right away, but some of the other stuff didn't. You could actually listen to the cell phones, but a lot of people didn't know that, including myself, until almost the end of the open beta. And I played the closed beta as well. I didn't even know you could listen to the phone records. I just thought they were collectibles. But you can actually listen to the phone records if you open up your menu and go to collectibles, and from there you can listen to them. Some of them are pretty funny, actually. Next one is, if you start listening to field data with audio from the menu, you can keep listening outside the menu. Simply saying, if you start it, you can close your menu and it'll still play. Subtitles added for all field data that play audio. So you open up a survival guide or a cell phone or I guess anything, it'll go ahead and it'll give you subtitles to it if you want them. I'm assuming you can take them away if you want, but I kind of like subtitles because sometimes you can't always understand what they're saying, and subtitles always help. Mission entrance menu usability has been improved. Mission entrance menu usability has been improved. I'm not sure what that means. Mission entrance menu. I didn't ever have an issue with that. I thought it was great being able to get people to join you if you wanted to on some of the big missions. Whether it be joining them, setting it up on hard mode. I wonder exactly how it's going to be improved. That'll be interesting to see. Significantly increase the number of crafting materials obtained from loot crates. Okay, I'm guessing since in the beta you only picked up like one weapon part or one electronic or one dark zone, material, whatever it was that you found. I'm guessing that just means that you pick up a lot more of it for crafting. So that's cool. I mean, I didn't expect to pick up any of it, honestly, because they didn't have crafting, so I don't even know why they had that in there. I guess it was just to, leave it in there, so whenever they actually launch the game, they don't have to modify it or change it or add it or anything like that. I guess just easy programming. The icon for landmarks in the Dark Zone has been changed and now indicates if non-player enemies are present or not. So that'll be interesting. Cause I know if you go to a landmark and you click on it, it would only tell you how to get there. So I guess it'll be interesting to see if it tells you the enemies are there now. That way you don't waste your time running all the way across the Dark Zone to one of these areas only to find that it's already been cleared out by other players. And that was kind of a long run. So I think that'll help a lot with running around the Dark Zone for 15-20 minutes and not running into an enemy just because there's another team running around killing them. I did like how they upped the spawn rate during the open beta, because I know in the closed beta you could run around forever and it would take enemies forever to respawn. So I did like how they fixed that, and I'm looking forward to being able to actually see if the enemies are there or not. For those that don't know, just because you know where an area of enemies are, if you ever open up your mega map, there is a landmark on everything. If there's enemies there, there's a landmark on it. I don't know if there's any enemies outside those landmarks that are just kind of roaming the streets, and there might be. But from what I could tell, all the enemies were located near or on landmarks. So that'll help you guys be able to find out where you need to go to fight the heavy AIs and where they could be hiding at. So, that's a good addition to it. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Next, we're going to go over the gameplay improvements. New help menu is now available in the settings menu. It stores all the loading screen and context-sensitive tips. So if you noticed when you were playing the game starting out, there was some helps that would pop up while you were running around telling you how to move and telling you how to do all that stuff. So seeing the help menu, that's kind of something that's standard in all video games. It wasn't there during the beta that I saw. Didn't really look for it. But if you guys ever do need help on controls, on the help menu's there for you guys. If you didn't play during the beta and you need help getting your hands on the controls and everything like that. So that's a good thing for them to add. New tutorials added for certain gameplay features and mechanics. These can be switched off in the options menu. I am assuming that if you start a new game, it'll give you the tutorials. But I guess if you want to go to the option menu and turn the tutorials off and just skip straight into the gameplay, I'm assuming that's what that means. But it could be that the tutorials are optional things, like you click on the tutorial and it'll immediately start up a situation where you have to complete it, and that shows you the controls, and once you complete it, then you can move on. But from what it sounds like, it just sounds like that there's a standard tutorial that you get at the start of a game, and you can disable that if you want before you start the game. Just go to your options menu, go to tutorial, and disable it from there. Added information to the in-game loot pickup UI that displays why an item can't be picked up. So let's say that you go to an item. I know that this happened to a lot of people in the Dark Zone, and it says could not pick up. Could probably be because either your package was your backpack was already full, or your base of operation was already full there. Giving us more information on why you can't pick up something, or maybe even making it bigger, did help. I know that there was a few times I tried to pick something up, and it took me a minute to figure out why I couldn't pick it up. It was like, my backpack isn't full. I only have 3 out of 6 items. Why can't I pick this up? It could be because my stash back at the base of operation was overloaded. I did eventually figure it out, because it does give you a little bit of a window that tells you stash is full. And if you didn't understand, stash meaning your base of operation stash, not the stash you have on you. So that's what that was for. So maybe making it bigger, making it have more information will help to clarify what it is that it's saying that you have too much of, or you need to make room somewhere for. So looking forward to that. The deployable turret no longer targets non-rogue player and doesn't damage neutral players caught in the line of fire. So if the turret starts shooting at an enemy and someone tries to run out in front of it, it's not going to hurt them. If another person comes up and shoots you and it makes them your enemy, the turret's not going to recognize them as an enemy until they go rogue. The turret will hurt rogue players, but if they haven't gone rogue, the AI or the sensor on the sentry gun will not go off, or the turret will not go off, and it will not hurt those people, and it will not cause you to go rogue. And that was a video I made. I was hoping that they would patch it. I'm glad that they did. I'm still curious about whether or not it works on the sticky bomb. If the sticky bomb's out and let's say another couple of people are in a team, if one teammate runs over there and gets on top of an enemy sticky bomb and then his teammate throws a grenade at it, the teammate's grenade won't hurt them because they're in the same team, but the grenade would explode, causing the sticky dart to explode, and that sticky dart damage would do damage to the player, and that would cause the other person to go rogue. And you couldn't exactly detonate it, because if you hit the button and detonate it, then it explodes anyway, and you go rogue anyway. So maybe they'll look at that, maybe they'll patch that. I'm hoping that it's all skill powers across the board, but I could also see why it could be a problem trying to fix that one. Because if you do explode it and you're meaning to cause damage, you're meaning to go rogue, then they don't want to patch it. But on the trip side, how would you fix it if an enemy threw a grenade at it and caused it to explode and not cause damage? So there's the back and forth on that. So maybe they'll figure out a way around it. Maybe they'll be able to fix it to where grenades don't cause it to explode. I know shooting it doesn't cause it to explode, so maybe they'll fix it to where grenades don't either. Next is skill modifiers have been added directly to gear, previously only available on gear mods. So that's pretty cool. I guess if you're wearing a vest or some kind of extra gear, it might help you with accuracy or critical hits or critical hit chance or your stability for that matter. It could be a variety of things. Honestly, what we saw during the beta was very, very limited. And for those that don't know, in most MMOs, when you start out a game, critical hits and critical chances are very, very, very low. Your critical hit does a pretty significant amount of damage compared to what you normally would do, but your critical chance is so low that it doesn't seem to really matter. Your headshots and your critical hits are two different things. You can have a headshot and it not be critical damage. It'll still do extra damage because it's a headshot, but it won't do critical headshot damage. Critical hits are based off a percentage of your skills. So maybe if you ever hit them in the head and you do more damage than you normally would on a headshot, then it possibly added the critical hit on top of the headshot hit. So later on in the game, after you get it past like level 10, level 15, somewhere around there, then you might want to consider actually boosting up your critical hit chance and your critical hit damage. You really need both of them together if you're wanting to put out the most amount of damage. So if you're looking at a sniper class, you want to put out a whole bunch of damage on a really powerful sniper, you go all firearms, just max that firearms out with everything that you do, get a really powerful sniper, hopefully you have good aim, and just smash it with the critical hit chance and the critical hit damage and just spike it. So one, you're going to be doing a whole lot of damage because of a sniper on a headshot. But if you can get your critical hit chance really, really high, so you're doing more damage more often, could be a really good way to take out a lot of enemies, including other players. Even if they are at a higher level than you, if you get some really good critical hits on their head, you'll be able to eliminate them like that. So being able to see the skills on your armor and everything like that, that'll be helpful with deciding on what kind of build that you want. So that'll help out a lot. Last thing that we're going to go over as far as the patch notes is the fixes and general improvements. Fix glitches that could be exploited by players to gain an unfair advantage in the game, such as invisibility, shooting through walls, etc. I'm hoping that this also deals with the players that were able to quote-unquote fly. It was actually a glitch that allowed them to climb up invisible barriers or climb up walls. So if you ever saw a guy running around the top of the top side of a building where there was no math, he was just kind of running in the air, that was a glitch. I hope that they fixed it. I know I killed several of them that were doing it, and once they did die, they fell all the way to the ground. You were able to collect their gear. Some of them did have the gear stay up there. Either way, I hope it's fixed. I hope we don't have to worry about that. And, if you do happen to see it, be sure to, notify Ubisoft about it, send in some kind of report on it. I will have a report page in just a minute telling you how to do that. But everyone, please report people like that. It'll help make the game better. That's the purpose of the beta test, is to report people like that so you can get it fixed, so that you do have a good game. If they were to launch the game without the beta test, without the alpha test, and we were to get it, one, we're going to be laggy as ever straight out the gate because the servers aren't ready to handle that many people, and there's going to be just a million exploits, like running faster with a grenade, gliding across the floor, shooting through walls, all that stuff. That's what the beta test is for. And if it continues, if you find more exploits, report it. Try not to take advantage of it. If you do take advantage of it, it's not going to help fix the problem. You're only going to make the problem worse. So be sure to report stuff like that. It'll make the game funner. It'll just make it a better time for everybody, not just you or me or anyone else. It just makes the game a better game. Anyway, moving on. Extended server side checks to detect any illegal actions from the game client, limit their impact in the game, and track down the perpetrators. Not sure exactly what all that entails, but I'm assuming that will have to do with any cheating, and that if they are continuously cheating, there may be consequences to face, so watch out for that. It could also mean that those that are looking forward to the trade system is something that will be implemented into the game. When it is implemented, it might not be at launch, it might be later on, but from what I've heard and from Ubisoft Q&A, they did say it would be in the game. There are people that go out of their way to try and duplicate items. If they catch you duplicating it, there may be consequences to face as well. So there probably will be somebody that finds a way to exploit duplication. Just be considerate about it. Even if it's a good weapon, you really want to give it to your buddy, but at the same time you want to keep it yourself. Finding ways around it could end up costing you a lot more than just that weapon. They might delete your account altogether, or worse, ban you from the game. So look out for that. Be careful in what you choose to do. And be a team player. And we'll see how the game turns out from there. Next, fixed an issue on character select screen that results in getting stuck with specific combination of inputs. I'm guessing that's just due to lag. If you try and hit something and it freezes up and you can't move anything, you got to shut it down. I did have that a couple times during the beta where I'd hit something and it would freeze up the game. People would still be running around me, but I couldn't get out of my menu. So maybe that has something to do with that. Hopefully they fixed it. Fixed a progressive blocking issue caused by accepting a group invite at a specific moment during the base of operations unlock sequence. So if you were unlocking the base of operation, you completed it, and then somebody invited you to the game, and you went ahead and accepted it, but while you were going through the cutscene of unlocking it, apparently that blocked you from continuing on with your game because it matched up with theirs, but for whatever reason that's been fixed. I never experienced that myself, but that's just what it sounds like. Could be wrong. That's what it sounds like. Players will no longer return all the way back to the start screen after creating or logging into their Ubisoft Club account. So if you are playing the game and then you decide that you want to create a Ubisoft Club account in the middle of the game, I guess it would kick you back to the start or kick you back to the main menu. That seems to be fixed. So for those that do need an Ubisoft account or anything else, seem to be good to go while you're playing the game. Don't know why you want to do both, but the option's there. So next, fixed remaining bugs that prevented login attempts when non-essential services were offline. I'm sorry. That seems a little bit self-explanatory, but I've never experienced any issues with logging in or out. So whatever that means, I didn't experience it. So overall stability increased. Guessing that that's game stability and not weapon stability. So I guess that makes it with the less people lagging around. Hopefully. Further back-end improvements and optimizations, better visuals, that was already stated. Localization adjustments and bug fixes, that's pretty much what this whole thing's been about. Additional minor bugs, fixes, and polishes. Sweet! So, looking forward to all the fixes. These are all the patch notes. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll go over some other stuff shortly. Alright you guys, now that the patch notes have been wrapped up, and before I jump into what the rest of this video entails, just remember to, if you have any problems with anything to do with the Division, whether it be cheating, exploits, issues with the game itself, anything like that, be sure to report it at the Division forums. I'll leave a link in the description box below, and if we can get them all found, spotted, seen, reported, we'll get them out of the game, and it'll make the game that much better. So be sure to take care of that. If you have any questions or have any complaints, be sure to check them out and they'll take care of you. So let's go ahead and move on with the rest of this video. Alright you guys, now that we're done with all the boring stuff like the patch notes, which I found interesting but not everybody does, let's move on to something a little bit more interesting for everybody, and who doesn't love free stuff. So we're going to talk about the different gear sets. Now there are plenty of gear sets that the Division offers, many that you can collect in the game, but if you're looking for something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more personal, check these out. These gear sets are going to include the gear set for your pre-order, your gold edition, how to get a hold of gold edition, and a lot more. Be sure to check out the links in the description box below in order to get your hands on a gold edition if you're looking for one, or if you're still looking to buy the game or anything else. I will leave a link to the Uplay shop to where you can go, you can download your stuff, and you can get all your gear sets that you need. So look forward to that, and let's go ahead and talk about the gear sets. So starting out, the first gear set we look at is the Hazmat gear set. You get this for simply pre-ordering the Division. So if you need to pre-order it, again, I left a link in the description box below, or go to your local GameStop. Either one will work. The gear set includes the gear that he's wearing, as you can see there, the pants, the jacket, everything. You also get a backpack, as you can see there, and a weapon with the custom paint job. Now the custom paint job I think you can take off and put on another weapon, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see. Next one we have the gold edition. If you pre-order the gold edition, you get the game, the season pass. It comes with all the downloadable content, and you get the National Guard gear set, as you can see there, full equipment plus a backpack. And it comes with the same weapon, but with a different skin on it. Again, I think the skin you're able to take off and put on any weapon of your choosing. So be sure to collect the weapon skins. They're interesting to collect, they're interesting to have, and for those collectors out there, good way to get started. Now these next 4 are interesting. These are 4 hidden ones that not everybody knows about. Most of you guys might know about it. You might already have it. Either way, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below, as well as on the next slide I'm going to show you what the link looks like. Basically, it tells you how this works, how to get it, and when to get it. These include the paramedic, which comes with an assault rifle, a backpack. You can't really see the full gear, but you get a generalized idea you're a paramedic. The next is a firefighter with a shotgun and a backpack. The next one's a police officer with, again, a shotgun and a backpack. And the last one's a hunter with a shotgun. It could possibly be a rifle, but it looks like a shotgun to me, and a backpack as well, plus the full gear set. All of them come with their own gear set. And be sure to write down Agent Origins that you see up there at the top. That's the password that you need when you go to this link and you need to type it in. Just simply type in Agent Origins on it, and it will give you a free code that you can put into your PlayStation 4 and get these gear sets for absolutely free. Now you'll notice though, if you look, it says login, redeem, Agent Origins, just like that, all caps, now at that link, which I will again leave in the description box below, to unlock your 4 free Division Agent gear sets. Inspired by the video series, which if you haven't seen the video series, be sure to YouTube those. I'll try and leave a few in the description box below. They're awesome videos. I've sent them out to friends. They're pretty interesting to see. The Division liked them, posted them. It's awesome. Anyway, the one thing that you do need to look at though is you will not be able to redeem this code until the release of the full game. Any attempts prior to will result in an error message. So be sure to remember that you cannot download the code that it gives you on your PlayStation 4 until after launch. Don't feel like your code's wrong. Don't feel like it's ruined. It just has to be post-launch. Just remember that. I already have my code. I've tried to use it. It gives me an error message. So you can't use it until after launch. Just remember that. Alright you guys, to go ahead and wrap up this video, I want to talk to you guys about Rainbow Six Siege. Now yes, Rainbow Six Siege is not Rainbow Six The Division. By no means are the two games similar. However, both games are made by Ubisoft. And Ubisoft is somewhat of a company that's known that if you played one of their games, you have a chance of getting an unlock in a future game. Now this is just complete rumor, but recently the Siege got 2 new operators, Buck and Frost. And these 2, as you'll notice in this next slide, are part of the JTF, the Joint Task Force, which if you don't know, that's the agency that is helping the Division take back the city. Why these 2 are part of the Joint Task Force, it could just be an Easter egg, could just be something they kind of tossed in there. But the way these characters look, the way they look like Division agents, I'm willing to bet that these gear sets might be something that you'll see in the Division. And it might be that if you've played the Siege and you've unlocked these characters, not necessarily you unlock these characters, but if you've played the Siege, you might get an extra gear set for that playthrough. And you look at these weapons, these look like weapons that could be in the Division, including the marksman rifle. Now, these weapons are part of the Tom Clancy's database. It's not uncommon to see weapons in one game be in another game. So that kind of blows that theory a little bit, to the side. However, these agents definitely look like agents that you would see in the Division. And they look a little bit different than what you see in the Siege. They definitely look unique in their own way. And like I said, they're part of the Joint Task Force. So the way that they hold themselves, their knee pads, the satchel on their side, the backpack, their way they carry themselves, the jackets, the whole thing looks like they would be a very good fit in the Division. Now, I'm not saying these characters will be in the Division, but I would like to see their gear sets in it. Like I said, this is complete rumor, completely my opinion. Either way, that'll wrap up the video, you guys. I'm sorry there's no music. The video ran on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but it is what it is. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time.